Hello, Professor Bright here. Welcome back to House of Many Doors, where last episode... Wow, a lot of things happened. Really two major events, let's be honest. One, we found out that this is actually Death's house, and it's run by something called the Architect Heart, which apparently, I'm going to say tricked the first mortal, the trickster, which I'm not sure if the trickster is the first mortal, but for now I'm going to just say they are the same person, tricked them into banishing Death from the house. Which didn't last for very long because the Architect Heart then brought in a bunch of immortal playmates in the forms of various worlds' gods. And then, well, they brought in humans, and Death found the place. And that's what essentially caused the house to become this giant, massive thing, instead of just a tiny little, 6-room house. But in addition to that, we also got Tybalt Balsamic his own salon, because he turned out he wanted to be a barber. All it cost him was his father's life, and frankly, his father was a awful, terrible person who deserved everything that happened to him. What happened to him being he got a little bit of a, I think it's called a Glasgow smile, if I remember right. Throat cut open by a barber's razor. So that happened, and today, we have a heist to plan, and I have a fetch mirror to make planning it really easy. City of Keys. Let's go that way. Yes. Oh, really? I go through the mirror wise and somehow 2 customs men come wandering down the station. One short and fat, one tall and thin. They amble gently into your Kinetopede somehow, poking around with their truncheons and twitching their identical moustaches. Hide everything as best we can, I don't particularly care. They poke around and rip off floorboards and cook themselves a cup of tea on your stove, but they don't find any of the secret compartments. Sorry to bother you, says the small one cheerily as they leave. Tall one glowers. Yeah, right. Anyway, before we do this, we did lose our guard captain. Might be an idea to actually get a new one. Well, looks like you're gonna be the guy. Ransack Morton, covered in scars with an ear missing from a recent spell in prison, he was a vicious pirate and murderer. Delightful, he tells you cheerfully. But he's seen the error of his ways, now he plans to publish his memoirs, but first he needs to have some non-murderous adventures. Out of curiosity, let's talk with this new recruit of ours. Hey! Well, covered in scars with an ear missing from a recent spell in prison, despite his fearsome aspect, there's something very amiable about his demeanor. Why don't you tell me a tale for a change, he asks. The bloodier the better. Oh, I got a few of them. Ransack's floor is strewn with bottles and unidentifiable puddles. His shelves are crammed with trophies from his long and checkered career as a bandit. A jewelry box, a skull, a grinning clown puppet with pearl-white teeth. You relate your story in all its grisly detail, and he roars with laughter. Good one. He produces a bottle of beer and removes the lid with his teeth. Wanna know why I signed on with your crewmate? He asks after a glug. You're a poet, so I knew you'd be able to turn your hand to a tale, and I want someone to tell my story when I'm dead and gone. Why do you want someone to tell your story? Someone's got to, otherwise what's the point? Ransack shrugs. He waves a thick wad of paper at you. I've already written up the first half of my memoirs, but I need help with the spelling and grammars and such, and to work out how I'm going to become a hero that people will read about. A hero helps people. I mean, of the options. Help people, muses Ransack. Yeah, that's good. I think at this point in the story, the reader will be getting tired of all the murdering. He beams at you. Let's go to the City of Keys, my old stomping ground. A lot of folk there who need a helping of helping. He starts to sharpen a knife, whistling tunelessly. You know what? Let's pursue that. I'm curious. And at the end of the day, we can always come back to the matter of, planning our little escape from the house. So I'm back at the City of Keys, where are you? There you are. Ransack sets off to inflict some heroism on the unsuspecting public. Oh dear. You might want to make notes, says Ransack, handing you a battered notepad and leaking pen. This will probably go in the book. He strides confidently toward an elderly woman, twisting his scarred face into an approximation of a grin, holding out one beefy, tattooed hand. Carry your bag, ma'am? She screams in terror and flees. Ransack chases her, shouting apologies. God bless this man. Chase after them. You manage to catch Ransack before he gives the poor woman a heart attack. Some people are just ungrateful, he says, glaring after her. Somehow, the chase has led you into one of the grimmest corners of Sticky End. There's a rasp of a knife behind you. Two scowling men detach themselves from the shadows. Give us your money, snarls the larger of them. I'm just gonna hang back and let Ransack deal with them. Lads, he says mournfully, what was that? Awful display. You're after someone's money, you gotta make them really shit themselves. Let me show you. His friendly smile instantly switches to murderous hatred. He grabs the thieves by their collars and pulls them close, foaming at the mouth, veins throbbing in his forehead. One of his eyes weeps a trickle of blood. Give us your money, he screams. Give us your money or I'll hunt down your families. Seconds later, the thieves have flung all the money from their pockets and fled. Well, ahem. One last try, maybe you can find someone else in need of help? You wander the city for hours, but no obvious opportunity for heroics presents itself. By the time the lamps go out, Ransack is deeply miserable. This heroism thing's harder than I thought, says Ransack miserably. I need to rethink my approach. Head back. He is a delight. I mean, let's leave the city real quick. I kind of want to pursue his storyline right now. That's the thing, the characters in this game are so very fascinating. Ransack Morton, covered in scars with an ear missing from a recent spell in prison. Despite his fearsome aspect, there's something very amiable about his demeanor. Ransack knocks excitedly on your door. He has a new idea. Oh. Fargo Keep, he babbles. Poet Knights, they're the greatest heroes in the house. Take me there so I can learn from them. He has a book in one hand titled Sword and Verse, The Memoirs of Sir Caliphus. See, I did this with my other guard captain. It didn't end well. I mean, you know what? Yes. Let's do this. God, I love this guy. I like the earnest, like, he wants to be a hero. For reasons I don't entirely understand. But he's just so very good at being the monstrous villain. Oh, man. Well, not really a monstrous villain, he's just, like, he's really into being a thug. That's, like, his thing. Ah. My heart. Love this guy. Ransack, you are alright. You're an alright guy. Let's go all the way left. We're gonna go to Fargo Keep. I know I said we would be planning the factory heist, but I mean, come on! I needed a replacement guard captain, and now I have one. And he's just so delightful. What? Oh. Leave it alone. I don't care. We're at the end game. Story matters, but that's about it. Oh, right. What was your... I suppose I could bring you over... See, the thing is, I'm not as fascinated by Pen Pusher. Oh, just gather news and get out of here. Although, do you guys have fetch mirrors, by any chance? Just out of curiosity. Looks like a solid no. I'll sell that wondrous device, though. Got no use for it. West, please. I don't know, I'm starting to get that feeling like I should be finishing people's storylines. Some ill-mannered brutes, eh? Well, we'll hide most of our money and give them a pittance. 20 guineas is all you have, and you're so upset to lose it. Devastated. After berating you for your poverty, they depart to find someone worth robbing. I mean, I'm apparently very, very convincing, because I have, like, several treasures, arcane grimoires, all sorts of nonsense. But, yeah, I'll just give them the 20 guineas. Frankly, it costs more to repair the Kinetopede, so why not? You know what? Besides you, who I just don't know where to get a radical pamphlet for, I think I might finish up some storylines. That might be my project. Or maybe we'll just do this one. I don't know. I'm indecisive like that. You've probably realized that by now if you've been watching this series up to this point. Feels like a time for ending, but at the same time... Decisions. Decisions that will be made at a later date. Right now, let's just take you to Fargal Keep and see what happens. I'm curious. Nope, and there we go. Ask the Poet Knights to train Ransack in the ideals of chivalry. Sir Bruin looks Ransack up and down, stroking back his magnificent locks. I think not. What? Ransack's mouth falls open in shock. Persuade Sir Bruin to teach Ransack. Oh, fine, snaps Sir Bruin, after you urge him to consider his conscience. We'll give him a chance to prove himself. Sir Bruin takes Ransack to a poetry class. Oh my god, this is the worst idea I've ever heard of. The poet squires sit in the castle square, books on their laps, gazing mistily up at the ceiling above. Ransack picks his way through them, stepping on various fingers and shouting his apologies. Sir Bruin strides up to the front and sits on a tree stump. Listen to the birds, he says. Write a poem based on what you hear. You have 2 hours. Ransack must do this himself. I truly believe that. Ransack labors furiously over his parchment. When the lesson ends, the poet squires stand one by one and read their efforts aloud. Elegant meditations on nature for the most part, well composed but generic. Then Ransack stands up, coughs theatrically, holds his parchment 2 inches from his nose, and reads a ridiculously filthy limerick about a woman from Penitent's Bluff. It's actually very funny in a filthy sort of way, but several poet squires faint, and Sir Bruin squawks in dismay. Enough of that. God, I love this guy. Ransack's next lesson is swordsmanship. Sir Bruin takes him to the yard. The sword is an extension of the self, says Sir Bruin, throwing Ransack a wooden blade. The steel essence of your will. Wow, says Ransack, holding up the wooden sword. It's magic? What? Sir Bruin blinks. No, I mean swords in general. That doesn't make a lick of sense, says Ransack cheerily. On guard, eh? Cheer this man on. Sir Bruin dances more than he fights, always a second away from being hit by Ransack's club-like swings, tapping him vigorously on the nose, the forehead, the buttocks. Each tap is accompanied by a witty bon mot. I don't know, I kind of feel bad for Ransack. Although it is kind of entertaining, but he wants to be a hero, but he... I can see both sides of this. I guess I feel bad for the guy. Sir Bruin hovers ever out of reach, humiliating his huge opponent again and again. Finally, Ransack throws his sword aside and barrels at the Poet Knight, wrenching the wooden sword from his grasp and snapping it. Got you, he growls, grabbing Sir Bruin's collar. In a real fight, I'd punch your head off. In a real fight, you'd be dead 6 times over, says Sir Bruin coolly. Go home, I cannot teach you. Ransack drops Sir Bruin and storms away. He's right, says Ransack wretchedly. I'm no Poet Knight, no hero either, ain't cut out for it. I should just go back to murdering. He plods sadly to his cabin, shoulders hunched. Aww. Come on, Ransack. Come on. You're a good guy. Sort of. Except for the murdering. You hear a whispered conversation from Ransack's cabin. Who could he be talking to? Peeking through his half-open door, you see that Ransack has a grinning clown dog sitting on his knee. Is that a trophy from his bandit days? Expect me to do, Ransack hisses to the doll. Just break in there? What if I'm asked where I heard? The whispers drop too low for you to hear. An odd scene. Ransack knocks on your door. He has a proposal. Far south of the city of Keys, says Ransack, there's a facility called the Potomac, a prison. The warden's a vigilante, locking up folks without trial. He scratches his stubble. And maybe this warden fella gets it right most of the time. He's a smart fella. But he gets it wrong, too, And that's what happened. He's got a princess locked up there who don't deserve it. How often does a fella get a chance like this, Brian Bright, and a gap-toothed grin? Rescuing an honest-to-God's princess. That's textbook heroism, that is. Has this got anything to do with that puppet? How did you... Ransack sighs and lowers his voice. His name's Owlglass, and he's no ordinary puppet. I looted him off a Harlequin caravan back in my pirate days. It was him who started talking to me about heroism, sent me down the path of good. Apparently it used to be this princess's toy, animated by the power of her love or some shit. I'd introduce you, but he only speaks to me. I'm sorry, that thing belonged to the first mortal. Like, I remember Owlglass. Oh, I get this. Okay. First of all, she's absolutely guilty. She's an aspect of the trickster. But second... Ask to examine the puppet real quick. 10 minutes later, you're sitting in Ransack's messy room and sitting opposite a wooden clown puppet with cherry red cheeks and a filthy grin. No matter your exhortations, it refuses to speak. Owlglass is a shy boy, says Ransack uncomfortably. I'm not mad or nothing, honest. Hard to get him to shut up when we're alone. The puppet sits there unexcitingly. What if the princess is guilty? Listen, least we could do is go and talk to the warden, says Ransack. Talk to the princess too, weigh the evidence, see? I'm not saying we go in guns blazing. Alright. I can get behind that. Ransack punches a fist in the palm of his hand and whoops with delight. This is it. It's the first chapter of the rest of my life. Let's get going. Onward to the Potomac. How far away is that? I was under the impression it wasn't that far away. Gossamer Smile. Blue Steel Court. Frogbit Smut. Maybe it's farther away than I thought. Ugh. Oh, there we go. Glitterberg. Scornvant. Oh, that is a ways away. You guys don't have, like, anything useful, do you? No. Well, tell you what we do. We're going east. I think I used up all my fetch mirrors, but let me double check that. It's one of those things, I'm willing to spend a fetch mirror to do this, yep. Wait, I'm sorry, I have 2 of them? Oh, it just says I'll lose one. Let me go to City Keys. Let's buy some. Not you, not you. You. Again, I don't know if I need these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. That should be enough, in theory. Now, we know Scornvant was close. Biasis, Blue Steel Court, Carapace. Real quick, let's review the, is one of these the Potomac? Just straight up the Potomac? No? Cool. Yeah, real quick. Pour over the map. How far did we need to go? Rescue Princess at the Potomac, Library of Unfinished blank, Scornvant, or Glitterberg, or New Drayden. Okay, so Scornvant or New Drayden, whichever we have access to. Alright. Beep. Beep. Scornvant it is. Just go graft. Oh, I failed something and now I'm... What? The stagnant lake that surrounds the Entomark's capital is fortified by a teeming carnivorous wilderness. The doors of Grossfathom are open to those who can reach them. Attempt to? What kind of capital city doesn't even have roads? You fight your way through to the ferryman at the lake. He remarks on the pleasantness of the day, but you're too busy picking leeches from your nethers to answer. When you reach Grossfathom itself, you find it defiantly drab, a squat tower on a shiver of dead land huddled by sad hovels. Gather news. The townsfolk regard you with sullen suspicion. This will cost 10 guineas. Bog drakes have proliferated in the lake. Baroness Skinwing continues to reject all suitors. Queen Sabetha has given a speech at the palace. I mean, I would, but I kind of have stuff I want to get done. Now we got a few minutes. Examine the depths of the swamp. Tangled trees cluster at the edge of Gross Fathoms Lake. Beyond them, miles of restless wilderness. Ooh. I am now maimed. Your crew hack a path through the tangle of vines. A beak plant snaps at your ankle. A giant mosquito glides overhead, casting you all in shadow. Suddenly, a bog drake explodes from beneath a patch of mud, snapping and catching your arm between its fearsome jaws. You scramble back, one arm hanging bloody and useless at your side. Kill it. You order rifles raised, aimed, fired. The bog drake becomes thrashing red charnel. You order it collected. Very good. The queen invites you to her tower. There is no pageantry in Queen Sabetha's throne room. The banners are tattered, the candles are unlit. 3 giant mosquitoes, too bloated to fight over a saucer of blood in the corner. They have pink ribbons around their proboscises. Okay. The queen herself is pallid and gaunt. Her eyes gleam with energy and intelligence, but the face they stare from looks dead. One side of her neck is afflicted with a bristling black growth. I hear Lady Lucinid is quite besotted with you, says the queen. There are certain tensions in the Potomac that a well-connected foreigner like yourself would be in the perfect position to influence. You're so pleasingly unaffiliated, you understand. What do you mean by tensions? Thralls, says Queen Sabetha with the air of someone completely sick of the word. All visitants who appear in the Potomac are taken as slaves. The practice is barbaric, and I aim to eradicate it with a steady regime of reforms and legislature. But the constitutional process is not rapid enough for some people. To push these reforms through any faster would mean civil war, bloodshed like the Potomac has never seen. Yet still, Lady Thespian pushes for immediate abolition. And who's pushing to keep their thralls? The economy of Scornvaunt relies on thralls, she says. Lady Scorn will fight all reform until her dying breath. Lady Lucinid and Lady Papillon both support the keeping of thralls too. The two sides were evenly matched until Glitterberg fell to plague. Now that the abolitions actually stand a chance of winning, the threat of war grows more real by the day. Is she actually pushing for war, though? She's a hypocrite, says the queen, so vehemently that she's overtaken by a fit of coughing. The strange black fungus on her neck quivers. She owned thralls herself until 5 years ago, then she freed all thralls on the bluff and proclaimed herself an abolitionist. But forgive me if I'm skeptical, it's my throne she wants. She pauses, taking a sip from her wine. The other abolitionists are Lady Bluesteel and Lord Aranak. They at least are sincere, and Lord Aranak has pledged to remain neutral in any conflict that erupts. What do you want me to do? She reaches out a hand, makes a soft cooing noise. One of the giant mosquitoes shuffles over to her, dragging its belly and nuzzles her shins. Go and speak to as many of the factions in this conflict as you can. Push for peace, failing that, at least try to ensure the sides are too evenly matched to risk war. If you fail, thousands will die. The mosquito crawls into the queen's lap, its proboscis latches onto her cheek, and she smiles down at it fondly. The mosquito's proboscis bulges and reddens as Queen Sabetha waves you away. This is a problem. I will tell you what. We're going to leave that for some other time. Right now, I'm focused on the characters. I have several questions there, and I don't actually have much of a stake in that, if you don't mind me saying. Like, oh no, these terrible people are going to fight each other in this awful place. Look, there's nothing against swamps, I just am not a fan of them with all the bugs and such. Ugh. I wish you would not make new noises. It's uncomfortable, you see. Very uncomfortable. Also, this is getting me very distracted from our main objective. Right now, what we're gonna do, just as a little bit of light in the darkness here, we're helping Ransack Morton, who's gonna be betrayed by somebody. And it's probably that hourglass, but we'll find out. We'll find out how things turn out. I am so worried, though. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will turn out all right. It's a very big maybe, but we'll see. We shall see. And worst case scenario, I have a fetch mirror. I have many fetch mirrors. I can go wherever I want. Although I kind of wish I had read what happened when I failed there. But, oh well. Hindsight 2020 and all that. How much further? 3 more? Alright. Let's go and see what happens. If anything. Well, I know something's going to happen. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to get some people killed doing this. I just hope it's not Ransack, because, I mean, God, he's just such an innocent soul. Apart from the murdering, of course, but you know. Who am I to judge? I've actually started several revolutions and got a lot of people killed, so, Alright. Across the bridge, there's only room enough to walk single file. Your Kinetopede certainly cannot cross. Now. Pale shapes watch you behind the bars, claws clutch at the iron, screams and howls, oaths and catcalls, laughter and sobs. When you're halfway across, speakers crackle. Turn around and leave. The voice is tired and irritated, like an old man who's seen children running across his property. Walk carefully, or walk quickly. At the press of a button, the bridge will fall beneath your feet. Say you need to talk about a captured princess. Ransack stands behind you, breathing heavily and glowering. A pause from the Tannoy. A crackle and a sigh. Fine, come on over. Hunched, neat-bearded Quodquoven, still know how to pronounce that name, comes down to meet you at the tower gate. There's an irritated scowl on his face. You think I've wrongly imprisoned someone, he asks. I'm curious to hear your reasoning, but don't expect me to change my mind. Ask if you can talk to the princess too. It would be useful to learn both sides of the story. Bah, says Quodquoven. No, that'd be going too far. Come, let's talk further over coffee. He retreats into the tower. I'll keep him distracted, whispers Ransack. He pulls the clown puppet from his satchel and hands it to you. Hourglass can help. Go to cell 2333. Just talk to her and see if you can trust her. The decision is yours. If you say she deserves to stay locked up, I'll believe you. Okay. Go to cell 2333 while Ransack distracts Quodquoven. You're gonna end up killing this guy, aren't you? Well, Ransack whips a deck of cards from his pockets. You a gambling man, Mr. Quodquoven? Gambling's a sin, says Quodquoven. Oh, won't be playing for money, says Ransack merrily. Just a friendly game is all, unless you think you'll lose, of course. As you sneak back across the bridge, you note that all the nearest cell numbers have 6 digits. Oh, looks like you'll be climbing a long way down. Fetch a rope and climb down into the darkness alone. You climb down into darkness, feet scuffing against the wall. Prisoners reach for their bars and claw at your ankles, but you kick them away. It takes hours of climbing to reach cell 2333. Peering inside, you can see, sure enough, the veritable storybook image of a princess sobbing in the cell's corner. Her hair is bedraggled and blonde, her dress of once fine silks is tattered and stained, her tiara gleams dully in the shadow. Observe her silently. Sobs rock her body, she does nothing but weep. Attract her attention. This is suspicious. You cough gently, her eyes, as she turns to greet you, are shining blue. She pads towards the bar. Well, the bars, rather. Are you here to help me, she asks, or torment me some more? She shivers. That dreadful man in his bleak towers treated me so cruelly. Ask about her past crimes. Why is she imprisoned here? None. What chance did I have to do anything wrong? I was a princess, pampered and sweet, and my father's guards were with me from morning until night. I was snatched from another world. One moment I was attending a ball, the next I was dropped in this cell. I hate to think of what my poor father must have thought when I vanished mid-dance. How can you be so sure she's innocent? Of course you can trust me, says the princess tearfully. What evidence can I show you? I'm trapped here. If you help me out of here, I swear I will reward you if I can. What's the significance of Ransack's clown puppet? Hourglass was my favorite toy as a child, says the princess, wiping a tear from her eye. When I was snatched from my palace, he was the only possession that came with me. But my plight caused an old magic to awaken with him, and he became a magical guardian of sorts. He climbed up to go and fetch help, but I had never dared hope that he would succeed. Releasing her is a bad choice. They're usually here for a reason. I'm gonna be betrayed if I do this. I do this knowing I will be betrayed. Really, sir, you've made a decision. You'll free her, you say. She just needs to wait for your partner to retrieve her key. She claps her hands in delight. After a few minutes waiting, you hear Quodquoven shouting and see Ransack peering over the bridge far above. Throws a key down towards you, hangs in the air for a glittering moment, and plummets. You snatch it from the air. Unlock the princess's cell. Oh, thank you, weeps the princess. Thank you, thank you. You should turn the key, and the lock clicks. As the cell doors swing open, she rushes out to wrap her arms around you, and somehow she unfolds as she comes, body twisting, blonde hair falling in clumps, dress splitting and tearing. The thing that crawls from her skin is tall and gaunt and spiderish, with a grinning old man's face. It gathers you up in oddly segmented limbs. Thank you, she repeats in a voice now deep and rasping. Oh, are they your friends? Let's say hello. Oh, boy. Raising one foot, the old man takes a step, and for a disorienting second, the world rushes around you and his leg elongates impossibly. Then you're both up on the bridge, next to a shocked Ransack and Quodquoven. The old man drops you to the floor. Well, fuck, says Quodquoven eloquently. He turns and runs toward the tower. Oh, Arthur, calls the old man, this time in the voice of the princess again, sounding almost affectionate. Your old friend Dredger wants a chat. He stalks in pursuit of Quodquoven, a skeletal shape in a sweeping black cloak, ignoring you and Ransack utterly. Turn to Ransack. Looks like you're wrong about the princess. Certainly seems so, says Ransack. He reaches into his satchel and pulls out Owlglass the clown puppet. After a moment's hesitation, he hurls it down into the abyss. Quodquoven bursts from the tower, wielding in one hand a shining bright sword. Serpentine arms slither around Dredger's back, plucking the sword from Quodquoven's grasp in a single swift motion. The blade twirls in a dozen hands. They hurl it towards Quodquoven, chest like a javelin. Yep, I'm gonna be reloading this, cause fuck it. Wait, you won't be intimidated. Ransack backs away, then turns and runs for it as Dredger gets closer. You wait. The grinning old man extends a blood-stained hand. Watch her, mate, he says. Don't shake. Success is impossible. The old man extends a limb. It's far too long, oddly segmented. When you step back without shaking it, he grins at you like a fond uncle. I'm Dredger, he says. Know me by my deeds. I'll take a good man and turn his mind to ashes and spit him out a sinner. I'll pull cities into the yawning abyss that waits hungry beneath us all. I'll kick the shit out of your bum. Who are you? Oh, me? Dredger grins. I'm the bad old man who does things to people. Me and Arthur go way back. Might hold a reunion. A dinner of 9. Not sure we'll all make it. He winks, claps his hands together. Round you, above you, below you, the doors of a million cells creak slowly open. A million voices roar and cheer. Run or die. Run, obviously. Oh boy. You turn, you run. When you look back, Dredger's there on the bridge, tall and gaunt, dark coat flapping, his yellow teeth bared. You're hauled up into the Kinetopede by Ransack. He's already set the Kinetopede's engines roaring, and the Kinetopede sculls away as fast as its legs will allow. Behind you, the cell yawn open like a million mouths. The prisoners of the Potomac have escaped, the worst souls from any world. Well, here's the thing, though. Fuck you, I knew I was going to get betrayed. I was curious how, but I'm okay with reloading that, just saying no. Saying no. I'm going to go there, observe silently. Yeah. Can I trust her? Nope. Leave her in prison. You won't free her, you say. Something about her isn't right. After a moment's shocked silence, she bursts into fresh tears. But why does everyone hate me, she gasps. Is it because I'm so bloody beautiful? Her body twists as though invisible hands are wringing her out. You hear bones wrenching, crunching, snapping, skin pulled taut. Her blonde hair falls out in clumps, her pretty face warped like paper in a flame. She stands to her full height, pulling old skin away. She's become a tall old man, sharp-nosed and grinning. The remnants of a fine silk dress still hang around his gaunt body. What gave me away? I mean, seriously, you expect me to buy that the princess was still wearing her tiara? Yeah, I mean, it was a little too perfect. I mean, come on. Come on. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to tell you, because I don't want to help you. I understand, says the old man. He prowls through the bars, clasps them in gnarled hands. It's hard to be honest in today's society. That's the trouble. You ever strangle someone? It takes a little longer than you might believe, but it's easier than having a conversation. He adjusts the lapels of his coat. Yes, suddenly he's wearing a dark coat and a top hat, too. Where'd the dress go? I read once that men like being in a small, dark spaces because it reminds them of the womb. Me, I think it reminds them of the coffin. Let me free and I'll give you a wish, whatever you desire. I won't come to a deal with you. Oh, no. Take care now, the old man withdraws from into the shadows with a big smile. You climb back up the rope, finding Ransack waiting for you at the top. His face turns slowly pale as you tell him about the thing in the cell. Gods, to think we came so close to... He paused for a long time. Thank gods you didn't listen to me. There are things that hide in the dark, old and malevolent. Ransack scratches at his stubble, his eyes haunted. We lock them up, throw away the key. But they always get out in the end. All you can do is keep them inside as long as you can. That night you dream of an old man in the dark. The clown puppet sits on his knee. It has Ransack's face. Well, so Ransack, how's things? What's up, buddy? Ransack slumps at your door, drunk and crying. I'm the worst hero who ever lived, he mumbles. Never helped a single person. When I tried to free a princess, I almost let loose a monster instead. He swigs from his whiskey bottle. I was reading back my memoirs, he says. I don't think you can be a very good protagonist if you want to be a protagonist. It warps your thinking. I'm gonna keep trying to do good, but... I don't know, I won't be too bothered if I only end up a side character. He staggers away, pausing only to vomit. You know what, man? You're absolutely a protagonist. That was a great story. Although, admittedly, maybe be a little bit more skeptical in the future? Just a thought. Real quick, oh, I can't just... Okay. I guess I'm not welcome here. That's fair. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go quickly to a... not port, city, room, etc. And just use a fetch mirror to go back to the city keys, and then we'll call it a day. I do like that we got this done. I did like this story. I'm actually curious about Dredger, really, because I like devil characters, and he seemed like a very good one. Although, I say. And when I say devil characters, I mean, you know, forces of evil. Like, if you're gonna personify evil, I like to see how people do that. Oh, my. I wonder if there's something more to that story. Because the thing is, I'm positive Hourglass was some sort of... Look, Hourglass was absolutely in the house before when the first mortal was. So is Dredger an aspect of the first mortal? I don't know. Head inside, though. And instead of doing anything else, next episode, we will be planning... God damn it. We will be planning a, exit. Anyway, we're in Chimer now. Just keep walking, you tell yourself. This too shall pass, but that mantra ceases to be comforting when changeability itself is your enemy. Needles leap from the ground like silvery fish. Your boots sinking in the sand that has become water that has become acid. A flock of stone birds flying above you abruptly realize their impossibility and become a lethal rain of rock. Your determination falters, you're leaking away, skin dribbling like ink. Make a frantic dash for the nearest pane of glass. Wow. I mean, it's kind of amazing how we've actually managed to fail so many times. Let's just go with Esoterica, I guess. At least that one's guaranteed. Oh dear. Oh dear. I hope my health doesn't affect the factory heist, but we'll find out next time. For now, thank you for your time. Note the like, comment, and subscribe buttons below. Use them responsibly, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.